Alright, this is John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And I think the first thing I want to say is in this episode I'm going to show you guys some new and exciting ways to use your juicer. Now I want to let you guys know this, right? Not only do I sell juicers for a living, I actually use them in my life each and every day. And actually if you ask me, John, which one came first? Did you start using juicers or selling them first? I started using juicers first in my life. I noticed the incredible health benefits I got from being able to include more fruits and vegetables in my diet because of these juice machines. And I did that for many years. I lost weight, got healthier. It literally turned my health around along with other dietary changes. And I was convinced, and I'm a believer in the power of juicing. And that's why I sell them today. And, you know, as much as I sell the juicers, I use them each and every day in my kitchen. This is something I can't say for nearly anybody else I've ever met who sells juicers. If you go to a big box store, those guys don't use the juicers. Let's not kid ourselves. You know, even most juice companies, they're not in their kitchens every day with their juicer, juicing fruits and vegetables, processing things like coconut milk like I do, processing all different kinds of things. And I constantly use my brain to think, John, how could you use your juicer in a new way to make it more exciting and beneficial and more nutritious for you, but also all the people that you share your YouTube videos with. And this is what I've come up with today. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys. So I wanted to let you guys know this, right? If you guys appreciate my videos, like my videos, you've learned from my videos, you've taken away knowledge from my videos, and I've helped you out, I would ask you to do me a favor and to help me out, right? The business world is quite competitive. There's big box stores and all these things, and people have the option to choose many different places to purchase their juicer. And if you purchase it anywhere else, I might not be able to continue to make these videos to educate you guys and share with you guys value and share with you guys all the things I do on YouTube about, you know, how to grow food, how to eat healthier, and all this kind of stuff. So I would really, ask you guys for your support. So if you've gained knowledge from my videos, I've helped you out, hey, please make your purchase at DiscountJuicers.com. That allows me to continue to make these educational videos and do what I love, which is spread the knowledge about the power of fruits and vegetables. One of the ways you could do that is actually through juicing them. So I want to thank you guys in advance who support me, and I want to thank you guys who have purchased from me in the past. You know, along with purchasing from me, you'll get some things that you don't get from any other juicer retailer in the United States. Number one, you're going to get my videos, right? No other company in the world, I'm confident to say, makes as many or produces as many videos as I do. I come out with a video every 5 to 7 days to teach you guys some new information, share with you guys some new equipment, right? The other thing you're going to get is you're going to get my support. I'm a juicing expert. I have more hands-on hours with juicing probably than anybody else that I've ever met, using all different kinds of machines. So if you do purchase a juicer from me and you have a problem, I'm probably the guy that has the answer. If not, I could get you the answer, right? More so than anybody else. The other thing is that you're going to have me as your liaison. This is super important, super critical, right? If you buy your juicer from a big box store and it's defective, right? And the company, the manufacturer is not getting you the parts, the warranty support you need, you can't really ask them for help. They don't know anybody at the company because it's just all big wigs and you're just another number to them. To me, you're one of my customers. You're a person that wants to make their health better, and I'm here to support you and stay behind you. And I have direct connections with all the different manufacturers that I represent. And if I make a few phone calls, send a few emails, and say, hey, my customer needs to get taken care of because they're not getting taken care of, rest assured you will be getting taken care of. So I could provide you, a little bit extra support that you're not going to get anywhere else. Plus, I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I would appreciate you guys support me. Anyways, let's move on with today's video. Many of you guys know or may not know that the purple cabbage is one of the most nutritious foods on the entire planet, right? Why is purple cabbage so good for you, right? Well, one of the reasons is because it's purple, right? It has the purple anthocyanins. These are the special pigments in the cabbage that make it purple. So if you have the choice between green cabbage and purple cabbage and there's the same price in the store, get the purple. Even the purple cabbage is like maybe twice as much. It's more than twice nutritious as the standard green cabbage, especially the green cabbages tend to be kind of like more almost yellow these days because they're kind of getting old, right? The purple ones has the purple pigments, and in different animal studies it shows that the anthocyanins can help animals. I think they did it with rats, was reduce their blood sugar, help them lose weight, and improve their cardiovascular system. So that's the power of this. Plus, the other thing besides that it's just purple, and I want you guys to juice as many purple foods as you guys can, is the fact that this is in the brassica family of plants. This is related to broccoli and cauliflower and kale, collard greens, bok choy, arugula. I mean, I could go on and on. But basically, these style plants, the cruciferous family of plants, have anti-cancer and anti-aging properties built into them. So I want you guys to do something from the brassica family of plants and not the same thing every day. Something different every day from that family to get some of these anti-cancer nutrients in you. They're completely amazing. And as good as it is to juice cabbage, and the other thing is I like cabbage because it is so inexpensive. Cabbage is one of the least expensive vegetables that makes lots of juice in the juicer, because this is actually a nice watery fruit. It's also quite heavy. So it's always better if you guys could purchase the cabbage is buy by the each instead of by the pound, right? That being said, mostly it's sold by the pound, and I do encourage you guys whenever possible, and if you guys could afford it, is to get the organic cabbage, in my opinion. And based on my research, organic cabbage generally has more nutrition in most cases, but not always, than the conventional counterparts. Plus, the organic ones are not sprayed with any chemicals made in a factory that are basically pesticides that can potentially cause problems within us. Although I would also say that if you can't get organic or can't afford it, that's all right. Even conventional cabbage or even any conventional fruit or vegetable is healthier than basically anything else in the grocery store, even if it was sprayed with pesticides. So don't get freaked out. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys actually how you guys could make cabbage juice even better, right? So what I did, I think I took like 2 heads of cabbage and I basically ran it through the juicer. So on one side I got the cabbage juice, the other side I got the cabbage pulp, right? I then put it in a large bowl. I sprinkled a little bit of salt on there. I put in some caraway seeds, mixed it all up into a nice mush, and then that mush I basically just put in this 64-ounce mason jar, right? And then I put in a glass weight, and then this vacuum lid, and I sucked out some air so it has an oxygen-deprived environment inside the container, and I let this ferment. And it fermented probably for about a week or so, and it's been basically going since then. So now I'm pretty sure that I've turned the cabbage into sauerkraut, right? There are pros and cons to eating things fresh. There are pros and cons to the sauerkraut, but the reason why I like to make the sauerkraut is because now I'm basically growing something in my kitchen, and hopefully you're not growing mold, especially if you use a weight on the top and you have this vacuum lid that's going to prevent any mold. Actually, I don't think I got any mold this time. But you are actually growing probiotic bacteria. Now, there are probiotics and prebiotics on the cabbage pre-existing. The prebiotics are in high amounts because that's just in the cabbage, but the probiotics on the cabbage are in low amounts. But when you create an environment such as fermenting they're going to proliferate. So now this is probably the most nutritious probiotic rich food you could grow in your own home. So it's rich in lactobacilli and probably other probiotics that are really critical for us to help us break down our food and literally create part of our immune system. And if you've had a round of antibiotics, according to my research, you've probably wiped out a lot of your gut bacteria, and especially after maybe not eating the healthiest diet and eating junk foods, processed foods, and animal foods in excess, which don't have a lot of fiber and don't necessarily support your beneficial microbes. It's very important to get some in your diet. So instead of like taking a white supplement probiotic, the best way is to make yourself out of a variety of foods. Today I happen to make them out of cabbage. So the thing is, I could take this off, I could put it in my fridge, and I could use it for a long period of time and just scoop out a little bit, add it to my salads, add it to my different meals, and I like to add this, I don't ever cook my sauerkraut. And I want to stop there, is one of the things with sauerkrauts, if you go to buy them in the store, most of them are on the shelf, and if they're on the shelf and they're shelf stable, not under refrigeration, and then what happens is they were pasteurized. So that means you're going to lose all the benefits of the sauerkraut, in my opinion. Well, the bacteria, you're still going to gain some of the other vitamins and minerals and other things that are in the mixture. As much as the cabbage has the vitamin C, the sauerkraut will also have vitamin C, and that's actually what the sailors took in times of Christopher Columbus when they had scurvy and all this stuff. They started taking fermented vegetables so that the sailors wouldn't get scurvy. The vitamin C is an antioxidant, really important in the production of collagen in our skin, so we could have nice supple skin. And also the other thing to remember is, aside from the nutrients that were in the cabbage, which are still in here and for the most part, there's also new nutrients in here as the bacteria basically digest some of the cellulose material and eat all the stuff in there, they're basically pooping, to put it bluntly, they're pooping out nutrients, which, you know, may have other beneficial uses for us. In addition, they're making the food inside the jar easier for us to digest because they're breaking it down. They're literally pre-digesting it for us. So I'd encourage you guys actually to include some kind of probiotics, especially some fermented foods, in your diet. That being said, there are some people out there that may be allergic to fermented foods. There's people that are allergic to any kind of food. So I always caution you to start out slow if you've never done this before, and, you know, don't do what I'm going to do and then just shoot the whole thing down. That would not be a good idea. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I basically turn the cabbage into the sauerkraut with the juicer. I put it in the jar, let it sit for like 7 to 10 days. It fermented, and now I'm actually going to rejuice it. So this sauerkraut is actually going through the juicer for the second time, and I'm doing this to basically concentrate all the probiotics in the liquid that then I'm going to basically put in a bottle and you know, keep in my fridge, and it'll keep fresh for easily a month. And I'll pour a little bit off into various drinks I make, into various soups or salad dressings that I make in the blender, and then I'm going to have all the really rich pulp that I'll then be able to use right after this probably, and I'll mix with some ground up flax seeds or flax meal, and then put them in the dehydrator, and then I'm going to have probiotic-rich chips. So this is something I've never seen done on YouTube before, is basically juice sauerkraut. Now I do want to stop right here, is, you know, if you go to the health food store, you could buy what they call sauerkraut juice, right? And if you go to the grocery store and buy sauerkraut juice, they're not doing what I'm going to be doing today for you guys. If it's sauerkraut juice on the shelf that's not in the refrigerated case, that's been heat pasteurized, you're losing the beneficial probiotics, which in my opinion are the most important benefit of the sauerkrauts, along with the antioxidants. If you are getting it from the refrigerated section, if you go to a health food store, there's companies that sell like sauerkraut juice. It can get quite expensive, but basically, in my opinion, what they're doing is they're basically just chopping up the vegetables, fermenting them in a water salt brine, and then they're going to take out the sauerkraut, which is mostly you know, the vegetables, and then they're going to be left with that brine, which is salt water with some of the nutrients diluted in there. You know, to me, that's not a real sauerkraut juice. That's kind of like a sauerkraut water. To me, this is full sauerkraut juice because I'm actually juicing the kraut right up. So the juicer I'll be using today to juice my fresh-made sauerkraut is the Omega VSJ843. Now, it is no surprise to many of you guys that the VSJ843 is my favorite juicer that I use on a regular basis in my kitchen. You know, I find the vertical style machines, you know, the best for me because I juice a wide range of things, whether it's leafy greens from my garden, whether that's carrots and beets or celery, or even some fruits sometimes. This machine handles it all quite well. In addition, this machine is the best machine I've found for making nut milks in any juicer. Many vertical juicers will work for this task, but I find that the way this one works is that, you know, it provides some back pressure to get the pulp kind of dry, but it also lets the pulp out. In some vertical juicers, if they don't have hard fiber, the pulp will get stuck up in the machine and it basically won't cycle through. So this task that I'm doing, and juicing the sauerkraut, I could definitely recommend the VSJ to do it, but I can't necessarily recommend other juicers to do it because the sauerkraut texture might be too soft and it might just clog and jam your juicer, and nothing is actually going to get ejected. For this reason, also the VSJ also juices the fruits because it can handle the softer textures better than any other vertical juicer that I've tested to date. It runs at a low and slow 43 revolutions per minute. It has a 15-year warranty. I don't think you could ask too much more for it in a juicer. It's been out for many years, so it's a tried and true design. There's been no juicers announced for 2018 when this video is being filmed. That's better in my opinion because I just got back from the trade show. Be sure to check that video, maybe the last one or two ago, you know, where I share with you guys the new announcements for 2018. Anyways, let's go ahead and get set up and let's start juicing some sauerkraut. So first step is to unearth or crack open this fresh made sauerkraut. Once again, it's basically just the purple cabbage, red cabbage, whatever you want to call it, some caraway seeds, a little bit of purified water, and some salt. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and take off this lid here. These lids work fairly well, although sometimes they get caught up. It's a vacuum lid made for making kraut. And then in here, I have a little like glass weight. If you guys want these, I'll put links down below so that you guys can find these on Amazon. And then on top of that, basically I just put a a full leaf of cabbage here to protect it, which basically tried to keep my mixture underneath. So we're going to just go ahead and turn this on and put it through the juicer. And now I'm just going to basically take scoopfuls of the cabbage that's fermented. It smells so good. And just drop that into the machine. Now, very important when using the VSJ843 is to not put things in too quickly into the machine. You want to give it some time to work. I will put a link down below to a video I made. It's called Juice Like a Pro in Any Vertical Slow Juicer. That if you get the VSJ843 or any juicer, you will want to do those techniques to ensure your success. As you guys can see, I'm juicing the sauerkraut there, and I'm getting the sauerkraut juice out the front, and the pulp, the fairly dry pulp, is actually coming out this side. You know, to spare you guys some time, because a lot of people complain my videos are too long, we're just going to go ahead and fast forward this for you guys, or speed it up so you guys can see the process, but I won't have to sit here and waste all your time, alright? Alright, so pretty much got all this stuff juiced. Last little bit of sauerkraut going in there. Now, well, what do we got? We got all the pulp that's actually been generated. And then we got the juice, and I'm using a fine sieve today to make sure that we just get the juice out, and I don't want any kind of like major particulate in there. So we're just going to go ahead and shake this down a little bit, and I'll show you guys actually how much pulp is generated in the juice. Alright, so I got all this shaken out, and this is how much pulp was generated. Generally what happens is I'll take this pulp and run it back through the juicer as I'm juicing so that I end up with very little pulp in the little bin. In this case, this pulp will probably go in with the sauerkraut pulp here that I'll turn into crackers. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out and show you guys actually what we made. So this is like rejuiced pulp for the second time, because the first time through I broke down the cabbage with the juice to basically ferment it more effectively to create more surface area. I fermented it, then ran it back through the juicer a second time, and now we're going to go ahead and try some of this fairly dry pulp here. That's still good. It tastes like a very weak sauerkraut. I've never... Wow, it's quite good. It's going to turn into some amazing crackers. Generally, if I create pulp out of cabbage, it'll go into my compost bin to feed my microbes and my composters, to basically build soil for my next gardening season. But this pulp is more beneficial and important to me because it still contains some of the probiotic material that's actually in the juice. So I will be dehydrating this into crackers at low temperature, probably just adding like flax meal with this combined up and just dehydrate it, and then I'll get to eat these guys when I'm traveling. Anyways, let's take a look and see what we got over here. We got our sauerkraut juice, so that made approximately 4 cups or 1 quart of fresh purple sauerkraut juice. Now, unlike a regular juice that you'd want to drink like maybe a quart at a time, I just would drink like a quart at a time as a standard juice for me, maybe up to 50 ounces depending on how I'm feeling. This stuff is quite strong, so you wouldn't want to drink it in like that whole thing in one shot. You'll probably be on the toilet. That being said, this would probably be good to do in shots, like here and there, as a probiotic supplement or beverage or rich food. And so we're going to try a little bit here. Wow. Woo. It's got like that probiotic zing. It's a little bit sweet because of the cabbage. I could taste the caraway seeds that were like imported in there. A little bit. It's a little salty because I added the salt to help the fermentation go and make it taste good. Wow, that's a really good beverage. The other way you guys might want to use this, like I'm going to use this, I'm going to basically bottle this up, store it under vacuum in my fridge. It'll easily keep for 30 days, up to 30 days. And I'm just going to add it into recipes when I'm creating a soup, when I'm creating a salad dressing, to kind of give it that umami flavor that may be missing, and also to power pack some of the foods and dressings and soups I'm making with extra probiotic materials, but also the important purple anthocyanins. That being said, this is another good way to store your juices. Like if you have cabbage You know, if you make cabbage juice, it's not going to store more than a week in the fridge if you store it properly. And if I remember, I'll put a link down below to the video. I show you guys how to store your cabbage properly. But if you ferment it first, then juice it, then store it properly under vacuum, it'll easily store a month and probably even longer, so that you guys could still retain the majority of the benefits plus create even new ones. I think that's pretty much it for today's episode, showing you guys how you guys could use the VSJ843 Juicer in new and exciting ways to increase and better your diet. If you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up to let me know I'll do more videos where I'm using the juicer in different ways that would normally be thought of. I'm basically just like a kid in the kitchen. I just like to have fun and share with you guys, and you guys are along for the ride too. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning or what new appliance or equipment you'll be learning about on my YouTube channel. And also be sure to check my past episodes. If you guys are still looking for a juicer, be sure to check my past episodes. Over 500 episodes at this time, teach you guys all aspects and show you guys all the different major brands of juicers on the market so that you guys can get the right one for you. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.